Alex Carter stood at the control panel of the massive Arcturian starship, eyes narrowed, staring at the glowing monitors. As the commander of the Arcturian fleet, Alex knew his responsibility was huge. He came from a planet where strength meant survival, and survival was the only thing that mattered. Arcturia was a world unlike any other in the galaxy, a place of unforgiving storms, monstrous predators, and gravity that could crush weaker creatures instantly. Arcturians were not just survivors, they were conquerors. Alex wore his scars proudly. Each one a story of overcoming death, each mark proving he had earned his rank and respect. He glanced at his second-in-command, Captain Claire Dawson, whose stern face reflected the harsh lessons their world had taught them both. Claire was strong, disciplined, and fiercely loyal, traits every Arcturian admired. "Commander, we're approaching the boundary," Claire announced clearly, her voice steady. "Good," Alex replied, nodding once. "Keep sensors at maximum range." "We don't want surprises today." They were heading to an unknown sector near their territory's edge, where strange signals had been detected recently. Rumors spread quickly through their fleet, fueling both curiosity and caution among the crew. "Any information on what we might be facing?" Alex asked, eyes still fixed on the screens. "Nothing clear," Claire admitted. "Just fragmented signals, possibly a new civilization, possibly a threat. Stay alert," Alex instructed. "We treat every unknown as hostile until proven otherwise." The Arcturian fleet moved silently through space, their ships armored heavily, weapons ready. Each vessel was a testament to their ruthless efficiency, capable of enduring battles that would tear lesser ships apart. Arcturian technology, much like its people, was designed solely for survival and dominance. Hours passed quietly until suddenly, alarms flashed urgently across the command panel. Claire immediately responded, adjusting settings swiftly. "Commander, we have contact," Claire called out, eyes sharp. "An unidentified ship directly ahead. It seems unaware of us." "Bring it up on the main screen," Alex ordered sharply. Instantly, the large monitor displayed a strange, sleek vessel, its design unfamiliar and unlike any ship Alex had encountered before. Its hull appeared smooth and well-crafted, suggesting advanced technology and resources, weapon systems? Alex queried, studying the unusual ship carefully. "Unknown," Claire replied, "but initial scans show significant energy signatures." Alex considered their options briefly, then decisively ordered, "Open communications." "Channel open," Claire confirmed. "Unknown vessel," Alex spoke clearly, his voice firm and authoritative. "You are entering Arcturian-controlled space. Identify yourselves immediately." A tense silence filled the room. Finally, the communication line crackled, and a calm voice answered, "This is Captain Ethan Mitchell of the human starship Aurora. We mean no harm. We are explorers from Earth. Humans?" Claire murmured, glancing curiously at Alex. "State your intentions," Alex demanded. Firmly. "Exploration and peaceful contact," Ethan replied without hesitation. "We hope to establish friendly relations." Alex frowned, exchanging a skeptical look with Claire. The Arcturians had heard of many species claiming peaceful intentions only, to betray them later. But there was something peculiar about these humans. Their tone was confident yet respectful, a rare balance in diplomatic communications. "Stand by for boarding," Alex declared, not leaving room for debate. "We will inspect your vessel personally." "We will comply," Ethan responded calmly within moments. Alex and Claire prepared a boarding team, equipping themselves thoroughly with weapons and protective gear. Arcturians never took unnecessary risks. Every step was precise, every action calculated. Their shuttle crossed quickly, docking smoothly with the human ship. Alex stepped out cautiously, Claire and their security detail following closely behind. As the airlock opened, they found themselves face to face with Ethan Mitchell, and several of his crew. Alex observed the humans carefully. They looked physically weaker compared to Arcturians, yet their eyes were sharp and alert, carrying an unmistakable determination. "Welcome aboard," Ethan said calmly. Extending a hand in greeting, Alex stared at Ethan's outstretched hand for a moment, unsure how to respond to the human gesture. Instead, he nodded briefly. "I am Commander Alex Carter," he stated clearly. "This is Captain Claire Dawson." "A pleasure," Ethan replied sincerely, his voice confident yet genuinely respectful. "We have much to learn about each other." Alex's gaze remained skeptical. Humans appear polite and peaceful, yet he knew appearances could be deceptive. Still, he felt curious. What sort of world had shaped these creatures? Could they truly handle the deadly challenges Arcturians face daily? "Indeed," Alex said evenly. "We do." Behind his cautious exterior, Alex felt an unexpected interest in these humans grow. Were they truly explorers as they claimed, or were they something else entirely? Only time would reveal the truth. Captain Claire Dawson stood quietly beside Commander Alex Carter as they walked through the corridors of the human ship. The walls were smooth and clean. The lights were soft, not harsh like those on Arcturian ships. It felt strange to her. Too soft, too calm. Humans moved through the halls with steady steps, some nodding politely as the Arcturian team passed by. None looked afraid. That was unusual. Most species feared the sight of Arcturian soldiers. But these humans just looked curious. Alex noticed it too. He kept his face neutral, but his mind was working fast. These humans were not acting like weaker beings. Their calmness was not arrogance, but it came from something else. Confidence, perhaps. Experienced Captain Ethan Mitchell led them to a large room. There was a table in the middle with seats all around it. It was clearly a meeting place. Other humans were already there, waiting. One of them stood up and smiled. "Welcome," the woman said. "I'm Laura Bennett. I'm a scientist. I study life on different planets." Alex gave a slight nod. "We are not here for small talk." Ethan gave a soft laugh. "Of course. Let's speak openly. We are explorers. Earth is far from here. We had no idea. We were near Arcturian space." Claire watched Ethan carefully. His body was relaxed, but his words were careful. He was trained. Maybe not a soldier, but used to danger. "Why did you come here?" she asked. "To learn," Laura answered. "To meet new life. To understand what's out there. And to take it." "Claire," said sharply. Laura shook her head. "We don't take. We observe. We only protect ourselves when needed." Alex crossed his arms. "You are on the edge of dangerous space. You know nothing about this region, yet you enter it with no fear." Ethan looked straight at him. "We know danger. Earth is not an easy place to live. Maybe not as harsh as your world, but we had to survive too. We learned to adapt. We faced war, disasters, wild beasts, and worse. We are still here." Claire raised an eyebrow. Humans claim to know pain. But could they understand Arcturia, where even the air could turn against you? Still, there was something in Ethan's voice. Something real. "Maybe we should see what kind of people you are," Alex said. "Come to Arcturia. Spend time on our world. If you survive it, we will speak again." There was a short silence. The human crew looked at one another. Most were unsure. But Laura stepped forward. "I'll go," she said. "I want to see it." Ethan looked at her with concern. "Laura, you don't have to." "I want to," she said again. Ethan sighed. "Then I'll go too. We'll do this together." Alex and Claire were surprised. They did not expect such a quick answer. Most species feared Arcturia. Many refused the offer or failed the test. "Very well," Alex said. "We leave in 2 hours. Bring only what you can carry." The humans nodded back on the Arcturian ship. Claire prepared the shuttle for the trip to the surface. She looked at Laura and Ethan as they checked their gear. No heavy armor, no fear in their eyes. They are either brave or foolish, she whispered to Alex. We'll find out soon, he replied. The shuttle flew down through thick clouds and high winds. The ground of Arcturia came into view jagged rocks, storm-covered skies, and dark forests that moved as if alive. The landing was rough but controlled. Hatch opened. Hot, dry air rushed in. It smelled of minerals and lightning. Laura stepped out first, followed by Ethan. Claire and Alex watched closely. Laura dropped to one knee and touched the soil. She smiled. The ground is rich in iron. I've never felt such pressure in the air. It's hard to breathe, but fascinating. Ethan scanned the area. I see movement to the east. Something is watching us. Claire was surprised again. Most people struggled just to stand in Arcturia's heavy gravity. But these two were already analyzing. Alex led them through a narrow path toward a nearby shelter. It was not much. Just a hard shell made to keep out the worst weather. Inside, they shared dried food and water. Night fell quickly. The wind outside howled like a beast. Lightning flashed across the sky. Inside, Ethan sat quietly, eyes watching. Every corner. Laura was writing in her notebook, even as the ground shook. Not bad, Claire admitted. They're not panicking. Alex looked out the small window. Let's see how they handle what comes tomorrow. They all slept lightly that night, but the humans did not complain. Even when the wind slammed against the walls and distant roars echoed across the land, they stayed calm. And as the stars moved across the sky, Alex began to wonder, maybe these humans really were more than they seemed. The sun rose over the rough hills of Arcturia. The light was red and harsh. The wind never stopped, carrying dust and the sharp scent of metal. Ethan Mitchell stepped out of the shelter and looked around. His eyes scanned the rocky path ahead. He was tired but focused. Laura Bennett stood beside him, holding a small scanner. Her face was calm, but her body moved slowly under the planet's heavy pull. Alex Carter and Claire Dawson were already waiting. Both looked fresh, as if the harsh night meant nothing to them. They had grown up here. This world was in their blood. Today we test your strength, Alex said. You will follow us. You will carry your gear. No help. No machines. Ethan nodded. Understood? They began walking. The path was rough and steep. Sharp rocks cut through their boots. The heat was thick. Every breath felt like breathing through a wet cloth. But Ethan and Laura kept going. Claire watched them with interest. Many had failed this walk. Most gave up before reaching the first cliff. But these two humans pushed forward, even when sweat covered their faces and their legs shook. After 2 hours, they reached a dark forest. The trees were tall and twisted, their bark hard as stone. Strange sounds came from deep inside. This forest is alive, Claire said. It listens. It watches. Laura looked around, her scanner beeping. There's something in the trees. It's moving with us. Yes, Alex said. The shadow beasts. They aren't anything that shows fear. Ethan reached for his small weapon, but Alex held up a hand. If you fight them, they will call others. Stay calm. Keep moving. They entered the forest. The air was thick and cold. The light dimmed. It felt like night. Strange shapes moved between the trees, always at the edge of sight. Laura walked carefully, taking notes as she went. Her scanner picked up low growls and fast movement. One shadow beast stepped out onto the path. It was tall and thin, with long claws and glowing eyes. It stared at Ethan. Ethan stared back. He did not move. He did not blink. The creature let out a low growl and slowly backed away. Claire was surprised. You didn't flinch. I've seen worse on Earth, Ethan said. Jungle cats. Wild dogs. Once a bear came into our camp. Laura smiled faintly. We're used to being hunted. The group moved deeper into the forest. The path grew narrower. The ground was soft and wet. Strange plants tried to grab their feet. Laura bent down to study. One, but Claire stopped her. Don't touch. It paralyzes. Noted, Laura said. After 3 more hours, they reached a large stone outpost built into the side of a mountain. It was an old Arcturian training post. Walls of dark metal surrounded it. Inside, the space was empty but strong. Alex turned to them. You made it this far. That is more than most. But now we test your minds. He led them to a sealed chamber. Inside was total darkness. You will enter this room. No light, no sound. You will be alone for 1 hour. It will play with your mind. If you come out before the hour ends, you fail. Ethan looked at Laura. She gave a short nod. Ethan entered first. The door closed behind him. Darkness covered everything. He sat down and closed his eyes. Time passed slowly. He thought about Earth, about the cold nights in the mountains back home, about the time he got lost in a cave as a boy. He remembered how fear had once tried to control him. But now he controlled it. Laura went next. Inside, she sat quietly. She remembered her research lab back home, where she once worked for 3 days without sleep. She focused on her breathing, letting her thoughts pass like clouds. The silence felt like a friend. When both came out, Alex nodded. You lasted the full hour. You controlled your fear. Claire crossed her arms. You still have one last test. Follow us. They walked again, this time toward a high cliff. At the top, they could see far across the dry land. The wind was stronger here, almost pushing them back. We jump, Alex said. There is water below, deep and cold. It tests your courage. Ethan did not hesitate. He walked to the edge and jumped. The wind roared around him. He hit the water with a hard splash. Moments later, he surfaced, gasping but smiling. Laura followed. Her jump was clean. She stayed calm even as the cold water closed around her. Claire looked down at them from the cliff. They passed. Alex nodded slowly. Yes, they are not like the others. These humans are something else. As they pulled themselves out of the water, shaking from the cold but grinning, the Arcturians knew this was only the beginning. The humans had proven they were not weak. They were strong, smart, and unafraid. And perhaps for the first time, Arcturians had met their match. The sky over Arcturia turned dark as storm clouds gathered again. Lightning flashed across the sky, and strong winds pushed against the ground. But inside the stone shelter, Ethan and Laura sat by a small fire, drying their clothes and drinking hot water. Their bodies ached, but their spirits were strong. Claire watched them quietly. She could not deny the truth anymore. These humans had passed every challenge. They did not cry. They did not beg for rest. They kept going. Even now, they were calm and focused. Alex stood near the door, looking out at the storm. Tomorrow is the final challenge. Then we decide if they are truly worthy. Laura looked up. What happens after the challenge? Alex turned to her. We take you back to the fleet. We speak again, this time as equals. That night, the wind howled. Louder than before. The shelter shook, but it held. Laura could barely sleep. Not because of fear, but because her mind was full of thoughts. What kind of place had raised people like Alex and Claire? What kind of place had made her and Ethan just as strong in their own way? Morning came with a loud thunderclap. The storm was still there, but the path ahead was clear. Alex gave them little time to prepare. Follow us, he said. Now, they left the shelter and moved toward a deep canyon. The air was heavy, and every step felt harder. The canyon was wide with sharp cliffs and strong winds blowing through it. This is the wind path, Claire explained. Only the best Arcturian fighters have crossed it. The winds try to knock you down. The rocks are sharp. One mistake and you fall. Ethan looked across the canyon. The path was narrow, only wide enough for 1 foot at a time. Alex went first, moving, like he had done this many times before. Claire followed him, light on her feet. Then Ethan stepped out. The wind hit him hard. He bent low and moved slowly, his eyes on the path. Laura came after him, careful but steady. The wind screamed around them. At one point, Laura slipped. Her hand shot out and grabbed the edge of the rock. She hung there for a moment. Claire rushed back and grabbed her wrist, pulling her up with strong arms. "Don't stop," Claire said. "Don't look down." "Thanks," Laura breathed, then kept walking. It took nearly an hour to cross the wind path. When they reached the other side, Ethan and Laura sat down, breathing hard. Alex gave a rare smile. "You made it. That was the final test." "So," Ethan asked, still catching his breath, "do we pass?" Alex looked at Claire. She gave a short nod. "Yes," he said. "You are strong, not just in body but in mind. You are not weaklings hiding behind machines. You fight. You endure. You earn respect." Laura smiled. "Thank you. That means more than—" You know, they rested for a while before making the journey back to the shuttle. As they flew up through the clouds, Laura looked out the window at the land below. It looked beautiful now, not just dangerous. She had come to respect Arcturia, and maybe, in some small way, it respected her too. Back on the Arcturian ship, the crew stared in surprise. No one had expected the humans to return, at least not without injuries or fear in their eyes. But they came back stronger. Alex gathered his officers in the command hall. Ethan and Laura stood at the front. "These humans," Alex said to his people, "have walked our world. They have faced what we face. They did not cry. They did not run. They adapted. They survived. They are not soft." The officers whispered among themselves. Many still found it hard to believe, but they trusted Alex. His word meant truth. Claire stepped forward. "They have our respect. We should learn from them as they learn from us." Laura stepped up next. "Earth is not like Arcturia, but we understand pain and danger. We have our own struggles. Maybe if we work together, we can both become stronger." Alex nodded slowly. "I agree. For the first time, I believe another race knows what it means to live on a death world. You are not like the others. You are something different, something real." The hall was quiet for a long moment. Then, one by one, the Arcturians began to nod. A bond had formed, not of peace alone, but of shared experience, of earned trust. Later, in the quiet of his quarters, Ethan looked at the stars outside the window. "We came here to explore. We found something more." Laura sat beside him. "We found proof that we're not alone in how we survive." And far across the galaxy, two death worlds had begun to understand each other, not through war, but through respect. Back on the Arcturian ship, the mood was different. The crew looked at Ethan and Laura with something new in their eyes. It was not surprise anymore. It was respect. The two humans had done what many others could not. They had faced the worst of Arcturia and survived. Alex Carter stood at the head of the main hall. Claire Dawson was beside him. Officers from across the fleet had gathered. The humans were also there, sitting quietly, watching. "We tested them," Alex said clearly. "Not because we hated them, but because we needed to know. We needed to see if they were worthy." He looked around the room. Every eye was on him. They were strong. They were clever. And they showed no fear. They are Deathworlders like us. Maybe different in shape. Maybe different in tools. But the same inside. The room stayed silent for a moment. Then one officer stood and gave a small nod. Another followed. Then more. Soon, every officer in the room stood. Ethan looked at Laura. She gave a small smile. They didn't need applause. That quiet nod meant everything. After the meeting, Ethan and Laura were invited to tour the rest of the ship. The Arcturian technology was harsh and powerful. Every tool had a purpose. Nothing was made for comfort. "You build for strength," Laura said as she walked with Claire. "No space wasted." Claire nodded. "We build to survive." "So do we," Laura replied. "Just in a different way." Later, they sat together in a small room where meals were served. The food was plain, but full of energy. Laura studied the ingredients while Ethan asked questions about how the ship worked. "We had to rebuild Earth after many wars," Ethan explained. "That's how we learned to live on less. We turned our cities into machines, made everything work for survival." Alex was listening. "We were born into pain. It shaped us. But maybe pain is not so different across the stars." Ethan looked at him. "Maybe not." As the ship moved through space, a new message came in. A call from a nearby planet. It was under attack by raiders, a group of cruel beings who took what they wanted from weaker planets. Alex showed the message to Ethan. They asked for help. "We don't usually answer such calls." "Why not?" Ethan asked. "Because we are not peacekeepers. We fight to protect ourselves, not others." Ethan looked at the screen. Images showed burning homes and scared faces. "But you're not the only ones who know pain anymore. We do too. Let us help," Claire frowned. "It's not our fight." "Maybe." "It should be," Laura said. "You said we earned your respect. Let us fight beside you." Alex thought for a moment. He looked at Claire. She gave a slow nod. "Prepare the ships," Alex ordered. "We'll respond, just this once." The fleet changed course. Weapons were readied. Pilots moved to their seats. Ethan and Laura joined the command room. "We've done this before," Ethan said. "We fought for others. We've made mistakes too, but we always learn." As they approached the planet, the raider ships came into view. "Fast and wild, but not well trained. You'll fly with us?" Claire asked. "Yes," Ethan said. "Let's show them what two Deathworlds can do together." The battle began quickly. Arcturian ships moved like hammers, crushing enemy lines. Human tactics added speed and trickery. Laura worked from the command center, sending data and maps to help the fight. Ethan flew alongside Claire, guiding her through tight spaces and leading attacks. Their styles were different, but together they made a perfect team. The raiders were strong, but they were not ready for two Deathworld forces working together. Within an hour, the battle was over. The enemy fled, their ships broken. On the surface, the people of the planet cheered. They had expected no help, but help had come from the most unlikely place. Two deadly species, fighting as one. Later, Alex stood on the surface, looking at the people. Children ran around his legs without fear. One small child handed him a flower. He stared at it for a long time before gently taking it. Ethan stood beside him. "Feels good, doesn't it?" Alex nodded slowly. "It does." That night, a fire burned. In the center of the village, Arcturians and humans sat side by side, eating, talking, and even laughing. It was a rare thing. Claire watched it all. Maybe this is what the galaxy needed. Not one strong race, but two together, Lavra agreed. Together, we can do more than just survive. We can protect, we can lead. And as the stars shine above, no one spoke of the old fears. They only thought of what was coming next, a new alliance. A new future. The alliance between humans and Arcturians grew stronger with each passing day. After the battle on the Raider planet, news spread fast. Other races heard about it. Some were confused. Others were afraid. No one had expected the Arcturians to fight beside another species. And no one had expected humans to match their strength. On board the Arcturian command ship, things were changing. Human systems were being studied. Ideas were shared. Small teams formed with members from both sides. They trained together, ate together, and asked questions. It was not always easy, but respect was growing. Ethan stood with Claire in the training hall. He was showing her how humans use lighter weapons in fast combat. Claire watched carefully, then showed him how Arcturians use their own weight to win in close fights. They sparred a little, laughing when one made a mistake. It was new for both of them, but it felt right that Laura sat in the lab with Arcturian scientists. She showed them how human medical tools worked. In return, they explained how their bodies handled pain and injury. Laura was amazed. "Your bones repair faster than ours," she said. "That's incredible." "You heal slower," the lead scientist said, "but you adapt. That is just as strong." Alex watched from the observation deck. He didn't say much, but he saw everything. The way humans and Arcturians learn from each other gave him hope. He had never imagined such a thing was possible. One day, a signal came from the outer edge of the system. A large ship was approaching. It didn't match any known design. Claire checked the scans. "It's not a friendly ship." "Power levels are high, shields active, weapons ready." Alex ordered full alert. "Get everyone to their stations. We'll find out who they are." Ethan and Laura joined the command crew. They looked at the ship on the screen. It was dark and massive, with red lights blinking across its surface. It looked like a hunter. A message came through. The voice was deep and full of anger. "We heard of your alliance. This is a warning. Step back or be destroyed." Alex replied, "We fear no one." "Then you are fools," the voice answered. "The enemy." Ship moved closer. Fighters launched from its sides. The Arcturian fleet prepared to respond. Ethan looked at Alex. "Let us lead the first wave." Alex stared at him for a moment. Then he nodded. "Go, show them who you are." Ethan and Claire took a squad of fighters. They flew out in perfect formation. The enemy was strong, but not prepared for the speed and skill of the humans. Claire's attacks were powerful. Ethan moved fast, drawing enemy fire and guiding his team. On the ground, Laura worked with Arcturian engineers to redirect energy to shields and weapons. She didn't fight in space, but she helped keep the ship alive. Inside the command center, Alex gave quick orders. His voice was calm. He trusted his people. And now he trusted the humans too. The battle lasted over an hour. The enemy ship was strong, but their pride was their weakness. They did not expect humans and Arcturians to work so well together. One by one, their ships were taken down. Finally, the enemy ship turned and began to retreat. Alex spoke into the comms. "Let them go." "We sent our message." The fleet pulled back. Cheers rose across the command ship. For the first time, they had won not with fear but with unity. Later, in the meeting hall, the leaders gathered again. Alex stood with Claire, Ethan, and Laura. "We were tested again," Alex said. "And again, we stood strong. Together." Ethan added, "We fought side by side. We trusted each other." "That is the future," Laura smiled. "This is just the start. There are more out there. More threats, more questions. But we don't face them alone." Claire nodded. "Let the galaxy watch. Let them see what two Deathworlds can do." That night, the stars outside the ship shone brighter. The crew gathered in the common area. Some told stories. Others shared food. Human music played from a small speaker. A few Arcturians tapped their feet, unsure at first, then smiling. Something had changed. Not just a bond, but a new idea. That Deathworlders, once feared and alone, could become something greater together. And as the lights dimmed and the music continued, the ship floated through space silent, strong, and no longer alone. The days that followed the battle were busy and full of change. On the Arcturian ship, humans and Arcturians worked side by side. The old lines between them started to fade. Now, people greeted each other in the halls with a smile or a wave. There was still work to do, but the feeling of trust was strong. Ethan woke up early one morning and looked out the window at the stars. He thought about everything that had happened since they first met the Arcturians. He remembered the fear, the tests, and the pain. But he also remembered the strength he had seen in both his own people and in their new friends. Laura joined him, holding 2 cups of hot tea. She smiled as she handed him one. "Do you think we made the right choice?" she asked softly. Ethan nodded. "Yes, we learned from them. They learned from us. We're not alone anymore." On the bridge, Alex stood with Claire, watching the reports come in from across the fleet. More planets were reaching out for help. Some wanted protection. Others wanted to learn. The news of the alliance had traveled fast. Alex called a meeting of the senior officers, human and Arcturian. He spoke clearly. We started as rivals. Now we are partners. The galaxy is watching us. Some are afraid. Some are hopeful. It is up to us to show them what we can do together. Claire stood up next. There will be danger. Not everyone will trust. Some will test our strength. But if we stay united, we can handle anything. Laura added, we survived our worlds alone, but we will build something better together. The decision was made. The two sides would form a new united fleet. They would offer help to any world in need. Not as conquerors, but as protectors. The training was hard. Humans learned to use Arcturian gear. Arcturians learned new human tactics. There were many mistakes, and sometimes even arguments. But slowly, the teams grew stronger. They shared meals and stories. They learned to laugh at small problems instead of fighting over them. On the day of the new fleet's first launch, everyone gathered in the main hangar. Ships of all shapes and sizes stood ready. Banners with both human and Arcturian. Symbols hung side by side. Ethan stood at the front, next to Alex and Claire. Laura watched from the crowd, smiling with pride. Alex gave a short speech. We are Deathworlders. We know pain. We know loss. But we also know hope. Today, we show the galaxy that Deathworlders can be more than feared. We can be heroes. The ships took off, moving in perfect formation. Their mission was simple: to help, to protect, and to learn. News spread quickly. Worlds that once feared both Arcturians and humans now looked to them for hope. On one planet, a small village was threatened. By dangerous storms, the United Fleet arrived just in time. Humans and Arcturians worked together, setting up shelters and bringing food. When the storms passed, the people cheered and thanked them. Children ran to meet the newcomers, no longer afraid. Ethan helped rebuild homes. Claire taught local fighters how to defend their people. Laura worked with local doctors to treat the sick. Each small act brought more trust and friendship. Days passed, and the fleet received more calls for help. Each time, they answered together. Sometimes the problems were big pirates, disasters, sickness. Sometimes it was just a planet needing advice on how to survive hard times. Each time, humans and Arcturians listened and did what they could. The alliance was not perfect. There were disagreements and mistakes. But each time they talked and found a way forward. The trust between the two groups grew stronger with every mission. One night, after a long day, Ethan and Laura sat with Alex and Claire under the stars on a peaceful world. They talked about the future, about their dreams, and about what they had learned. I never thought I would fight beside a human, Claire said quietly. Now, I cannot imagine fighting without you, Ethan smiled. Neither can I, Alex looked at the stars. Maybe one day, other Deathworlders will join us. Maybe we will not be so rare. Laura nodded. We showed the galaxy that being strong does not mean being cruel. It means helping those who need it. They sat together, listening to the sounds of the night. In that moment, the pain of their old worlds felt far away. The galaxy was wide and full of danger, but it was also full of hope. And as the United Fleet moved on to its next mission, everyone human and Arcturian knew they had found something greater than survival. They had found family. And for the first time, they truly felt at home among the stars.